Wow, that truly was a strong conclusion to the 5th book out of 7 in the Song of Ice and Fire series by American fantasy novelist George Raymond Richard Martin. Still going strong, George. I just sure hope the next book doesn't take as long as this one did to write.
5 years later.
Okay, well, any time now, George.
5 years later.
He's not going to write it, is he?
10 years later.
Oh, hey, did you hear? George R.R. Martin apparently just posted an update confirming that even though all those wildly popular AI-generated versions of The Winds of Winter are circulating online and have basically become accepted as being canon by the fandom, he is in fact still working on his version of The Winds of Winter and is almost ready to announce a release date. Well, you know, that's cool, I guess. Although at this point I've basically accepted that those AI-generated versions are the best things we're gonna get. And they are actually really surprisingly quite good. Yeah, no, seriously, some of those were amazing. Who needs human authors anymore?
10 years later.
Quick, get in the shelter! The streets are crawling with Tesla bots and Boston Dynamics droids. We'll never escape alive. We'll find a way. I knew we should never have placed our faith in robots. Oh, and by the way, this is completely unrelated, but did you hear that George R.R. Martin posted a release date for The Winds of Winter?
Really?
Yeah, it's supposed to come out next year, he says.
1 year later.
Well,
10 years later.
Hey, so did you hear that George R.R. Martin posted an update on The Winds of Winter?
What? I thought he was dead.
Well, yes, he is dead, but before he died, he uploaded his consciousness to the Fiber Matrix, so he is still working on the book. And in this most recent update, he says that, in fact, he is very close to announcing a release date. Well, I would say that changes nothing, but, I mean, surely AI George R.R. Martin will be able to write this thing faster than human George R.R. Martin did.
10 years later.
Well,
20 years later.
Hey, did you hear that? Stop. I already know what you're going to say, and I just don't care anymore. I don't care. I don't care anymore about George R.R. Martin and his updates on The Winds of Winter. I don't care. Just stop telling me about them. Oh, well, actually, I was going to say that Brandon Sanderson released an update on The Rhythmatist too. Wait, seriously? Yeah, he said that he was thinking about writing it and then instead decided to write 37 secret books and release them as Kickstarters. So, nothing new? Yeah, nothing new.
50 years later.
Sir, you have only days left to live. What are your dying requests?
So many regrets. I never got to say goodbye to Steve, who died on Mars during the Boston Dynamics Wars. I don't remember my mother's face. But most of all, even though I know it's just an impossible dream, I wish I could read The Winds of Winter by George R.R. Martin.
Well, you're actually not going to believe this, sir, but he just published it yesterday. Wait, seriously? Yup, here it is.
After all these years, it's real. I thought it was just a myth. The publishing industry's equivalent of Half-Life 3. But it's real. It's here. It's here.
3 days later.
So, sir, how was the book? It kinda sucked.